Oh, fucking. Hi, if you've just joined, sorry that I just cut you all off. I'm trying to get the orientation of this camera a bit better, but it looks like we're stuck in vertical for today. I'm sure we'll manage. Hi, G's Bees. Hi, everybody. If you just joined, sorry that you might have joined just before. I just had a bit of a technical hiccup. I was trying to get my orientation of the camera a bit different. You may be seeing me just a patch in the middle of your screen, but I can't do anything about that at the moment, I'm afraid. Anyway, so today we are back at the nuke yard. If you can see, we have beautiful sunshine. Just give you some idea of where we are again. We've got a really nice valley here, and it's my neighbour's house down there. I'm not going to show you that, but anyway, we've got a beautiful valley. It stretches right down past this road, goes over the bridge, and here we've got a little, what we call the quarry site. And this is where I do put a lot of my overwintering nukes. The reason why I overwinter my nukes here is because it's well drained. It's really protected from the weather. It's not absolutely brilliant in terms of cold, but because it's dry, it doesn't sit generally in a frost pocket either. And we don't get much sun in the winter. The sun will come maybe up over the trees there in winter for a little bit. So it's a compromise, as things are all the time. Long story short, it works well for nukes. As I said last time, 2 days ago, we can't really use this place for the summer because if it gets really hot, the hives just melt because of all this rock here. And that's one of the things I like to talk about, is that you've got to basically find apiaries that tick most of the boxes. This ticks the box because it's brilliant for me, because it's excellent for loading and unloading. My truck is just there, as you can see. I can reverse it right up here, but I generally keep it here because it gives me if I had any nasty bees, I can get out of it and get debagged before the bees follow me back to the truck, kind of thing. But I just prefer to keep this area open because there's a lot of bees flying today as well, because they're all on that rapeseed, which you can probably just see through the trees there. And it's full on. We've got 3 or 4 days of good weather, and the boxes are filling up, as I'll show you in a minute, as you probably saw the other day. So yeah, this apiary is really good. And when I come to need to move the nukes, I can just drive in, load them up and go. So I'm not having to reverse down a grassy track that's probably flooded in the spring like a lot of my other apiaries are at the moment. So today we're going to do some nuke transfers. What I was doing the other day was I was making some splits and splitting some of these nukes to try and calm them down. But now I'm of the opinion I haven't got much time to make any more. What I'm doing today is just transferring them into boxes where I can to make the most of the forthcoming flow, which will be with us for about another 3 to 4 weeks maximum, and then it will just finish. The rapeseed is just coming into flower. We don't put our nukes on, we don't put our supers on, I should say, until about maybe next week at the earliest, because we like to let our colonies rebuild those frames we took out last autumn, and we put in partitions instead. We take them out now. We've got a couple of weeks grace. We might have to remove frames of feed, and we store them for making nukes later on at the end of the flow or early summer when we do our summer splits. But what we like to do is do that, and it gives the bees a little bit more time. And then when we're ready to put the supers on, the colonies are big, the flow's in full flow, and then we've got time to fill supers really quickly, and it's not fits and starts, and then we can get the honey off, and we can usually get it extracted. Because so for us here in Brittany, getting honey off the hives is so important, and that's why we don't add supers till a little bit later if possible. We might not get a massive crop, but last year, like for instance, it still had like 2 tons of spring honey. You know, for 200 hives, that's pretty acceptable. So what I'm going to do today, see, I put a few hives here and there. I'm going to do a few transfers just to show you how I do it. It's something that a lot of amateurs struggle with. They get a nuke of bees. The nuke is often bursting with bees like this because it's kind of been held and then just transported last thing, and people don't really know how to do a transfer. You can find this on the internet. This will be posted later as well. I might make a mistake, we all make mistakes, but there's a general rule that you basically take the nuke off of the place where it is, you put it in front of the hive, and then all the flying bees then start flying back to the new hive, you put it in its place. And then you transfer the frames one by one in sequential order, but you must keep them in sequential order. We still got cold nights. You don't want putting frames of foundation in the middle of a colony this time of year, and especially when the colony's young and still building up. Okay, so we'll start with this one. Now, I'm just going to show you this one. I actually went into it the other day and I transferred it from a wooden nuke, which was the same as that one. It's actually just over there. He's just hiding behind that gorse. That was the nuke that had bees in it 2 days ago. So I transferred these over just to give them an extra frame because they were on 4 frames. And they've actually had 2 extra frames now. In 2 days, they've filled up those frames. And I'll show you. This queen isn't marked as well. Before I forget, I'm going to go down and grab my marker pen, which I hope is in my truck, because I'm going to try and find this queen as we transfer over. Have I put it in or did I take it out? I think I've taken it out. Great. So we can't mark that queen. Okay. So we're going to just hopefully transfer that nuke into a hive. And what it'll do when I do these transfers, I know it's only a few amongst all the others, but it'll start to make spaces so I can then put other hives in, slide hives across, and then start to make inroads into getting all these bees out. I need these out by next week at the latest because they need to be growing. I need to be utilizing what they're doing for me. And if you stall, you know the expression, if you snooze, you lose. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take off this nuke top. And we're just going to transfer these bees into a hive. But first, as I said, I'm going to move this nuke in front, and I'm just going to sneak this hive that I've cleaned yesterday, the day before. That's all been cleaned, sterilised-ish. All the propolis cleaned out and new spare frames put in. So there's 6 frames here, and I'll be adding 4 frames to it that are already in that hive. Just a bit of organisation. There's tons of bees coming and going. So let's just do a bit of the work. Just going to move this off. It's full of honey already. We'll open up the other hive. And in it, I've got my cover board, which is the aluminium sheet. I've got I've also on top, first of all, I put my plastic sheet, then aluminium cover, then a cover board, then I put my insulation. We've got 3 frames there that are reasonable. They're a little bit of dried pollen in, but I think they're good enough to reuse. I think the bees will jump on them. Nice clean hive. All the propolis has been burnt off the edges. And we're just going to put that on the end here. And we're going to start transferring the bees over. So what I'll do is I'll come back tomorrow morning and I'll probably take these hives away that I've just transferred bees into. And then that will make some space in my apiary. Bear with me a moment while I just drop the camera. Here we go. Are we still there? Yes, you guys are. So let's see if you can see inside this hive. I'm really going to struggle to... I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you here. Then you can see it from this side. And that might work pretty well. Yeah, that should be pretty good. So all the bees are coming back now. The actual hive isn't actually open either. I'm going to put the door back in for now, just loose. This is our anti-hornet doors we have. They kind of work. The hornets will not go through this when there's still a viable colony inside. As soon as the colony's dead, or dwindling, they will force their way in under that, believe it or not. But this time of year, if you're trying to get drones to fly, you don't want this snap shut, so I just put it in loose. So you can see there's room around it for the bees to come and go, and the drones. Plenty of bees in this colony. I took this frame out just before to have a quick look. I know these bees are good. Full of brood. It's actually full of resources, this colony already. This queen is not marked. I'm going to put this frame where it should be with the others, but that outside frame is just full of resources. So I'm going to put that up one and give them some foundation to work on. We'll do this one quickly because I know this is all okay, and it's been removed recently, so I'm just going to literally pop these in. I did see the queen wherever she has been laying. If you can look in there, you'll probably see fresh larvae, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for eggs that are lying down. Tiny, tiny little eggs, just to see if the queen is laying. That's what you need to look for, and she is laying really well. So all the other flying bees only know this place. So at the moment, they're not flying back to here, even though they're a bit confused, and they think that that's perhaps where they should be flying to. They know that they should be next to this height of this hive, and they should be in relation to other things on the ground. They're always going to come back to the front here. So that's what you've got to remember. It's sometimes a help if you've got a nasty colony or trying to find the queen. You can move the hive away somewhere, 10 meters away, and all the horrible bees, the forager bees, will come back to here, and you've lost the forager bees while you try and find your queen. That's a good way of helping yourself out. If you don't know much about beekeeping, we'd say this is a pretty good frame. That was the most recently laid. That's because this is capped brood. This is where the queen is laying at the moment, and this is about to be capped. And on the outside, this is hatching. This is hatching brood. But you can see the brood nest is starting to get congested because they're filling this here with nectar. Even though there's space in the colony, they're still filling that with nectar. This is what you've got to watch, because the minute your brood nest starts filling up, that's when swarm preparations will start. So you've got to be careful. Very careful. So I know that that frame there is full of stores, so I'm going to put that further back in the colony in a minute. You'll see that. This queen is not marked. I saw her the other day. I'd like to see her now. I don't know where oh, she is marked. That's right. She's a white dot queen. She's an old girl, and she's still doing well. So there we go. 2-year-old queen, I think. White, was it white? No, this is her third season she's going into. So it's a good queen. That's why. I must mark on the box, white dot queen. So this is the frame I put in, the extra frame, one of the extra frames I put in the other day, 2 days ago. And I can tell you now, it's been cleaned out. Look at that. It's absolutely full of liquid, not even much pollen. So this was just proof that the bees are just trying to store it somewhere. So what does that tell me? This frame will go one up. There's no brood in this. This frame will go one up to here. And another frame will go in here. Another drawn out comb. I'm giving them drawn comb because I've got it. I've been out through all my hives, as you might have seen. I'm being selective. I'm melting out quite a bit. But I'm also able to give my colonies some nice drawn comb. This is the same. This is this was filled with pollen earlier. Look at that, absolutely packed, jam-packed. There's no room in this colony. This colony is going to go into swarm mode instantly if it isn't already. You know, and that queen is old. And don't forget, when queens are old, they're more likely to swarm. So there's several ways of doing a transfer. And one of the ways you can do is just by doing this. You can pick up the front of the box, and you can just place it to one side, wedge it in there so it doesn't fall, and you can smoke here, and all the bees will climb out the front into the front of the box, and they'll start fanning, and they'll all introduce their way in. But what I'm going to do first, well, what I do is this. When I'm in a hurry, over the box, Give it a good knock. There's all your bees inside. Just tip them in. Instantly, you've got all the bees out, your box is done. We knew the queen was there already. I wouldn't do that unless I knew the queen was there, because then I could risk damaging the queen. So let's put a frame of foundation here. No, so a frame of drawn comb. And these other frames, they will be pulled out and cleaned up instantly. I should have really had I might swap one of these for a foundation to give them some more stuff to do, because honestly that's too ready for them. I need them to have some decompressing. If you can add foundation, we've got a flow on like we have now, a nice frame like that, they'll puff it up. Okay, they'll use a lot of resources to build that, but don't forget that colony is almost over full, and they'll use some of that honey at night to build this wax out, so it will help ease that stress. Okay, giving space as well either side is the best thing you can do, but we know that that brood nest is already full, and with the flow coming, I do not want this colony to swarm, so at least 1 or 2 frames of foundation if you can. So that is complete. The first one is done. They'll find the way in pretty well. They'll start to move down. The problem is I can't do the next one because there's not enough room, but I will transfer that nuke in a minute that's next door to it. It's another box. That can go to a hive as well because there's space to stick a hive in there, and it's between landmarks. So these bees knew this nuke. These bees will know that nuke and that nuke. All I'm going to do is change, so they're always going to come back. You just got to be a bit aware of that if you're transferring into hives when you've got lots of nukes, and if they're all the same, they can get a bit of confusion. So on goes my plastic cover. The bees will build under this a little bit, but not a great deal. On goes the aluminium strip. I could just use the aluminium. Other beekeepers do. I prefer to have the two. Then a piece of cardboard. That keeps it firmly down. And I put my insulation on as well still. This time of year, I still have insulation, because don't forget, bees work about 33 to 35 degrees inside the colony, and they're always going to have to heat. So if you can reduce that down, I do have open ventilated floors on these Dadant hives. So they do what they need to. When they need heat, they can generate it. If they don't, it just takes the stress off by having a bit of insulation at the top. So they can cluster at the top if they need to. If you're wondering what this is where I put my pollen trap on. There's like a U-shaped piece of metal that comes out there. The pollen trap fits on the front of these hives, and it's an exterior pollen trap. And that stops it falling off, it locks it in. We have them on most hives, so that works pretty well. So anyway, that's one done. Let's go on to the next one. Which one should we do next? Let's do this one. This is a pretty busy colony. I'll show you why it's pretty busy. You ready? Completely overflowing with bees before. Or the one on the end I think we'll do first. Let's find my hive tool. There we go. So I'll put my roof on that. That was a full colony. I meant to show you this one. This is what I'm going to do first. Bear with me. Here we go. This one has to be done today because you can see it's like, woo, way too many bees in that. So let's find a way of showing you this. I'm actually going to move this to the ground first. Plenty of heavy stores in there. We'll put a hive on the end here, and it will fit on nicely. And inside, we've got, that's the cage I use for caging queens in the summer. Okay, so take all these frames out. Down on the bottom. See if I can get you to see inside this. Find you another nuke to use. That'll make a good stand. Let's try and keep you out the sunshine as well, you guys. Not easy. How's that doing? Good. So there is the nuke on the floor, and we're going to just transfer the frames over. The door is, one thing you must always check when you're a beginner is it's easy thing to do is forget to open the door. And you'll wonder why your bees are all crowded on the front. And it's the most obvious thing. And I do it, everybody does it. It's the easiest thing to forget to do. There we go, that's not bad. Okay. So let's going to shake these bees in. Way too many bees in this. In that makeshift feeder. Way too many bees. That shouldn't be like this at all. You've got to check your feeders because they'll be full of bees on the inside as well. This one isn't, luckily, because they're all crowded on the top. Plastic comes off nicely. Give that a shake into the box. Maybe move you this way. Maybe that's better for you. Tricky job trying to film when... Anyway, there's the nuke completely full of bees. And there's the hive. There's the bees I've just shaken into. Let's start this transfer going. See if I can get these out without rolling any bees. So I'm going to move one side to the left, one side to the right, and I'm going to try and just lever this frame out in the middle without causing any grief, like that. That's why a frame hook is so good. So full of bees. Too full. So we've got drone there. We've got very nice young larvae. We've got hatching brood. Nice banana of honey. Just lost some bees and a big area of drone brood there. You probably see that. So that's number 2. I'll put that in number 2 for now. Amongst the 6, because there's 6 frames here. Let's get the first one out and see where we are with that. I could have really given them a little bit of smoke here, but okay, this one has got brood on. And that's surprising, and there is a queen cell right in the middle of the frame that has no egg in it at the moment, luckily. Okay, so that's queen cell without eggs. Nice, very nice. And that's all going to go in the same position as it is in the nuke, because there's no frames of stores I've seen. If there might be one here, this has all got brood in, those 2 have got brood, and we want to keep them together at this stage. If you get cold nights, you do not want to be breaking up your brood nest, as I said before. Nice frames, absolutely gorgeous. This is quite a light frame, and there's another cup there, which might be, there's an egg in it. Got to be careful. Let's check the sides. There's a cup there as well, without an egg in it. This is all just borderline about to go into swarm mode. You do not want this to swarm. This is just too much. When I've got my winter losses to catch up on, I do not want swarming bees through lack of intervention on my behalf. Nice frames of brood, nice straight frames. And I will reiterate that again. I do melt down frames that are bent and misshapen because when I'm doing transfers like this, life is so easy. I do not want misshapen frames. That's hatching brood there. And there is eggs. So the queen is actively laying. The minute she's got space, she's laying into that. It's just completely booming. There's a queen cell starting a cup. Also, another thing I found that's happened to me in the past is if you've got a colony and you're transferring it over on ground that's a little bit uneven and you transfer in sequence, which you feel you're supposed to, just be aware that this box is about to topple over because all that is full of honey and frames and bees. So I'm going to put my frames this side just to counteract it a little bit. This has happened to me a few times. It's just a little thing, but it saves you that grief of you're suddenly there with your frame in one hand and this starts to fall and you've got the box in another on your foot trying to stop it go. Just bear that in mind. Okay. Beautiful frames. Pollen everywhere. Too full. Really nice. Too many bees. But nice. This has got very young eggs in, and as I'd expect on the outside frame, but no sign of the queen. Again, I will also thank the person who said to me the other day, you missed her, she's on such and such a place on the frame. I felt a bit of a plonker, but you know what, having an extra 89 or 90 viewers all watching the same frame going through the same pain I was going through was quite amusing. And then I went back and found her, so I know which box she was in. But thank you anyway, guys. I haven't seen this queen. I don't know where she is. She might not be marked. There was a few that were homemade. So let's pop our frames in. Give that colony some space. And I will tip these bees in, but first, because I haven't seen the queen, I'm going to check inside this box meticulously. She's probably gone in on a frame already, but I want to make sure I don't shake her in if I do a shake kind of thing. Let's have a look inside this box. See if she's on the wall in here. Because before you go shaking a colony around, you want to make sure that you don't damage your queen. And at the end of the day, even if she wasn't here and I knocked the bees to the bottom, she would probably be absolutely fine. But it's just not a good thing to do. Let's have a look in this corner. A lot of bees in there, but I can't see a queen in there. So I'm just going to assume she went in on a pile of bees and someone saw her. She probably did. So this colony is now ready to go out to another apiary, and I will probably come move this tonight, or tomorrow morning, I mean, first thing. I'm not having much luck seeing queens these days. So that is done. Door is on. The bees are shaken out. They know where to come back to because they only know this place. Okay, they might be clustering on the next door a little bit, but they'll make their way in to here. Right, let's go and do another one. Smoker. Did I just use my smoker? No, I didn't. I left it there before. Well, there you go. Hi, Ian. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you get your bees out this week. I cannot believe your temperatures you have where you are. I just couldn't even begin to contemplate how I'd survive or work under those conditions. It's absolutely mad. But I suppose, as you say, it is what it is. This one is pretty strong. I'll do this one next. As usual, we get quite a few spiders that tend to make a web in the top. So this is going to be a little bit less of a challenging transfer, but there's still loads of bees in it. Yeah, I don't envy you, Ian, but I know you're organised and you'll have it under control. So what we're going to do something a little bit different this one. This time we're going to transfer directly to another hive just next door. This is the hive we're going to transfer into. We'll leave the box where it is for now and just take the frames over. And this is perfectly acceptable to do. It's just another method. When you've got room, you can do this easily. And then when we've finished, we'll just slide the box over to the place of the existing hive. And it's really important that you do that. The bees will find their way if you forget, but it just slows them down for a little while and confuses them. So we're not going to bother using any smoke here because I didn't at the last one. And okay, I'll just show you this hive. This is what I've been cleaning out. The bottom's had a brush and a clean. I didn't wash this morning, but I burnt out all the propolis from here and given a flame to a quick flame to the box, as well as probably sterilising it a little bit. It also makes life easier because if you start a box fresh with all these castellations clear, I know a lot of you guys don't have castellations, and I know you say, why don't you just change them? Well, our Dadant frames don't have spacers on, okay? That's the problem. And we have castellations, and that's kind of, as the beekeepers would say, it is what it is. There's nothing else we can kind of say anything about it. Our Dadant 10 frames come with castellations, and the frames have no spacers. So we kind of stick with it. And that's what you have to clean out every now and again. And it's easy to do. It just means you have to bring the hives back and blowtorch them. I just got a peck on the finger there. So let's have a look in here. Another horrible colony. Check I haven't turned you guys off. Okay, let's just give this a bit of smoke just to clear the bees off the top. You can see where the feeder was. Gonna remove some of this wax because otherwise it just makes everything really awkward. And I will put it in a tub. I try not to get stung. I try and do remove the wax and either melt it down or just take it away and bin it somewhere else, because obviously they say it's supposed to be a way of inducing pests into the area, but well, we haven't got small hive beetles, so I don't think that's really an issue. But let's see if we can get a frame out here. I'm actually going to go for this third frame because it's so full of honey. Just a question of making space so you can get a frame out without. So this box doesn't have any lugs on it because it wasn't converted. One, I can't really show you one before, but I might have shown you one that's got handles on, and we put carcellations inside it on top of the polystyrene carcellations. But what happens is the polystyrene carcellations don't last 5 minutes when you're in the real world, and if you don't reinforce it with some metal ones, they just get all mixed and broken. So let's get this frame out. Another horrible frame by the look of it. Here we go. Okay, very nice. Nice quiet bees. Not runny whatsoever. There's our queen. Hurrah! Look, everybody, a queen. This is a queen from Tenuta, Retiro in Italy. They have this beautiful marking system. I don't know if it is actually a dot they glue onto the back, but it's so precise. I think it actually must be. There she is. It's so clean, that mark. I think it's actually a dot they glue on. But they are, majority of queens in my apiary now are from there, apart from the load I raised last year, the year before. So I've got maybe 50%, but she's a beautiful looking queen. Buckfast, open mated, in Apidea mating nucs. Isn't she lovely? Okay, so we're already on to winner. We know where the queen is. So there's brood on that frame as well. Oh, that was number 3, so I'm going to put that in the 3rd place there in the middle. I don't want to mix them up like I just said. Okay, so that's a good start. See, the box isn't completely congested, and it's so much easier to find the bees. Another beautiful frame. Some room there, not a great deal, but there is room. So this is good. Just so you can see, loads of bees in there, loads of bees on those 2 frames already. This is just a nice time to be transferring. And there at the bottom is the Asian hornet from last year, you see? And she looks really fair. I wonder if she's been killed by the bees. If you can see that in there. But these bees are incredibly calm. It's a bit disconcerting. Okay. Next one. Woo. No room. Pollen, everything else. Drone. Beautiful frames. Look at that. Let's get that in there. Another horrible frame of brood. Dreadful queen, this one. Just show you again, look. Not sure if you can see that. Just going to lie this down there. But this is what you want to watch for. You see the brood nest, you've got hatching here. And even though the queen she is laying in there, a few eggs just been laid, but look, there's nectar. And that's a sign they're starting to backfill the brood nest, because there is just no, look at that nectar there. There is no room in this. And this is what you desperately want to avoid this time of year. So get in your colonies and give them space if you can. Is this a brood frame? Yes, it's brood as well. And the... Guys, can you see me? We just had a bit of a technical hitch, aka the camera fell over. I'm just going to have to flip you over. Okay, I think we're back on. Sorry about that. We had a headbutt of the camera. Hope you're still there, you guys. Sorry about that. It was a bit of a technical hitch called knocking the camera over with your head. Okay. Right. Are we still there? Yes, we are. Okay, let's finish this transfer. Look at that. Eggs and larvae on this frame as well, so that's number 6. And number one is got brood in as well, I think. So we can't, unfortunately, give it a... Yeah, there's brood on both sides of this one, so we can't give it a frame in between this one. But hey-ho. But what we are going to do is give it drawn comb so the bees will be on it straight away. So let's find my frames, wherever I put those. Did I have spare frames for this one? Maybe I didn't. Right, let's go and get some off the truck. Frame a brood frame, a lighter colour for the outside. You can build it up to do what they want with. It's pretty good to me. That's a really quiet colony. So at the moment, the bees that are foraging are still coming back. The bees are still coming back to this box, okay? So we'll make sure the front is open. Yes, it is. I'll just loosen it as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this box out of the way and slide the other one over. And then immediately, you see the bees have got nowhere to go. And we're going to do that and they'll start finding this one. So this is already, I mean, this could almost have a super on like tomorrow, you know? So this is what I've got to do with all the others. We know the queen was in the box. Shake these bees in. Done. A lot of bees in there. Super duper colonies. And if I put this back where, see the front's marked as well, they've probably got used to that. You've got to be careful. Sometimes you can put a box at the other side of a hive and then they'll all fly to that, all the foragers. So you just got to make sure you move everything out of the way. So on goes my cover, second cover, insulation, and on goes the roof. Done. Another nuke transferred. They'll soon get used to that and make their way back over. I think we'll do another one here. This one looks pretty full. I'm basically doing as many as I can to just start using the gaps I've got. They're all looking pretty good. The ones I did yesterday, one yesterday in the top corner, that's settled down now. There's much more space in that. All these need doing at the end. Remember I made some splits with these the other day. They're all looking pretty good. These desperately need doing as well. In fact, we'll probably do that end one. What's that doing on there? Why have I marked that? It's probably pretty full. Yep, that's a pretty good one, but it's not bulging, it's not full of bees, not bursting. I'll tell you what we're going to do next. We're going to transfer this one that's so completely full as well. This is a nuke that needs to be transferred over. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a tiny bit of space here and put a hive in its place, and we're going to transfer bees from there. This is only 4 frames, so this must be done today. And it's nice and heavy. Move that in front for now. If there are any weeds you get, I know this is a bit of a mess, but it's normal this time of year because you can't really do much while your bees are all here. Just clear it out a bit if you can. I'm going to slide a hive in there. to take the roof off for now. And then you've got just the hive to put in its place. You're probably thinking, isn't it just easier to take the nucs away? Well, I agree. But this is just initially to decompress some of the really strong ones until I come back later and start moving a few out. Okay, we get ants as well sometimes. They're a bit of a pain, but they don't really do much. Kind of just starting a nest that they seem to only really get going when the bees get going. Obviously, maybe they're pilfering from the bees. But, so, this is, let's show you how full this is. There's the ant's nest. You can see that. So let me show you this. I've just had a peek in the top and realised that we should have sorted this out last week, because that's what they've done in a week for sure. Find my hive tool and smoker. So let's take out the frames inside into one side. Pollen. This one needs space very quickly. That's the problem when you have 5-frame nucs. This is exactly what I'm on about. This would be the 6th frame. So get those bees out of the way so when I undo the top, this box is getting a bit rotten. Done me many years. It's also glued down well, which you can imagine. There we go. Check the queen isn't under the roof. Always important. A lot of bees. What we're going to do here. The necks are coming out of here. Can you see that? You watch this. Just see that nectar pouring off. Luckily these bees are being very nice. Let's try and give these some instant space. That's always the problem in Brittany. Our bees seem to go from nothing to enormous in a very short space of time. And you can easily get caught out, and again, I've pretty much caught out this year. Okay, so, at the moment, this is a frame of stores, but it's full. There's no room in here for a queen to lay, so I'm going to move that definitely at least one space up and put a frame of foundation or open home for them to build. Open foundation. Nice frame of brood. Again, pretty crappy. I hate seeing all these nice frames of brood. I wish I'd done a better job last summer. Lol. Nothing to say, any issues there whatsoever. One little queen cell. Anything in that? Yes? No? Nothing in that yet. Okay. Surprisingly, nothing in that. Oh, there's our queen. Okay, she's a good girl. She hasn't gone off anywhere yet. She'll have a nice lot of space straight away. She's been laying well in this side because that's all emerged brood there. And you can see this is going to emerge. She's in. We know we're safe. It was a good call doing this one today because there's just too many bees in it. I have to say though that, like I said before about overwintering nucs in this yard, The bees do really well in my old boxes if you get them just big enough before they go into the winter. They all do really well and they overwinter brilliantly. Drone brood. Nice. Okay, another nice frame. Horrible bees. Killer bees. Mind you, it is sunny as well. Even the bees that I thought would be a bit crotchety yesterday were nice. So that's done. We know the queen's in there. Put my frames of drawn comb in right next to the brood so she can use that as a brood nest straight away. Another one this side. I'm one frame short, so I'll have to go and find a frame of foundation because I forgot that this hive had only 5 frames in it. Just check the door again, that's open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it the other way, this way, to show you how we used to do it old school. You put your hive like that, it might stay. It's a bit awkward to do here, there we go. And then what you do is you smoke the inside and all the bees pour out the front. Let's just open this door a little bit more first. There we go. And then the bees run out the front into the hive. They will go in anyway. What my old French beekeeping teacher used to teach me, the best way to do a transfer was that way. And they all go in. You'll see a big rush in a minute. Here we go. We know the queen's in the hive. It's not my ideal way. I'd rather shake them in, but because that box is a bit heavy, it's easy to drop. There we go. And they'll make their way in now. There is a lot of bees flying, and I think the bees are waiting to come back to this colony as well. Yep. What a beautiful day. Let's get the cover on this. Go and get that frame first. We've got a frame spare somewhere. No. So let's get a frame. You've got to have spares on the truck all the time. And I'm running out of frames, so I've got a few left. Good. So that frame's a bit droney, but it's going to go in number 10 space, so that's fine. Or number 1. They'll always make drone on the outside frames in most cases. So I do like extra drones. I'm happy with that. Put the lid on. That was one of the feeder trays we made a couple of years ago when we're doing cell building and autumn feeding. You can put your pollen side on the top and you can put your syrup in here. We could have made this part a little bit longer because we only need a smaller place for the pollen sub. But it is what it is, it works fine. They were a lot of work we did. We made them by hand. My colleague Christian, who's an excellent woodworker, did a fine job. I just did all the manual work. He did all the machining and he's brilliant at it. So, come on girls, in we go. Okay, good. Don't like squashing bees. What another horrible job, horrible day. Life is just hard at the moment. Lol. Okay, when I've got the camera, when I put the camera down, I'll put that lid on later before I go, that roof. Just leave it like there for now. And I know that that's been done. I'll adjust that after. Right, let's find another one. I'm just going to have a quick look through the chat and see if anyone's got some... Thanks, Ian. Hi, Chris. Hi Ian, UK. There's a lot of guys here I don't recognise, but thank you for joining. Hi Bob, good to see you. Castle Hives, hello guys, how you doing? Ollie's Honey, hi. God, I'm a lucky guy with so many followers. Thank you everybody. Great to see you all. Thank you for following me. See, all the bees are moving their way up now. They're actually fanning a lot to entice the others in the front. You can see that. All these are strong. All these have got to be done. Remember, I transferred some bees out of here anyway, so these aren't quite so congested. But look at that yellow there. You can see the front's tainted yellow. So much pollen. Let's do one at this end here. That will get another one done. Let's find another hive. Where have I got hives? Let's do loads to do. I can basically pick anywhere and do a hive. Let's do this one here. Okay, let's try and get this one done without dropping my camera. That's better. Okay. Yep, this is strong. Full of bees. In the feeder again. Okay. Still bees in there. So this one we can do as well alongside. We don't have to worry about... We're still live. Yes, we are. We don't have to see the passage of bees is just massive. I mean, where I've just done that transfer, there's just a load a bit confused, but they'll all settle down soon. So, I need to find a hive. Transfer into. I've got one on the truck there. Bear with me a moment. I will just get a box to put these in. Same thing. I'll just kind of show you a few because it's good to see. You might see something I do differently each time, but generally this has all been cleaned before as well. A little bit of dead brood on that one, but hey ho, the bees will clean that out. Colonies like this in a fly will clean anything, to be honest. Okay. Every colony I look at, we need to do the job. We need to do the work on it. You know what? That's much better than having a load of crappy colonies, to be honest. So I'm not moaning in the slightest. So this nuke is on 5 frames, and it should have had a 6th frame added a couple of weeks ago, but didn't. So now it's completely cramped, but it's fine. Let's get out this partition first, and they're probably chewed through this, as they usually do when they get full. Not too much. Just about to start eating that corner. Okay, so they go in. Sting. Ow. By mistake. Because I just squashed a bee between my finger there and it hurts like hell. Majority of stings for beekeepers are mostly because you're not looking what you're doing. So we have loads of nice brood in there, pollen, nectar, everything I want to see. Nice calm bees as well. Larvae, look at that coloured pollen. I'm pretty sure that's probably rape pollen. So this one will go here. Another horrible frame. All those capped cells looking very nice. It's good to check every frame if you can, because you might just pick something up that would otherwise be waiting there just to develop. One thing I learned when I started beekeeping, when I visited Mike Palmer, and I know I go on about it, but what I realized he was doing, every time he looks at a frame, he scrutinizes every cell. Just because you might find that one first bit of European foul brood or something like that, and if you miss it, you think you've checked everything, you come back. It's always good just to check your cells, check everything is as it should be. But when you look at that and you know it's spring and you know this colony is so strong, you're pretty sure that it's unlikely to see anything sinister really at this stage, because the queen has ramped up her laying. Everything is kind of good. There's loads of cells, there's loads of food, the bees are foraging, they're all about the same level. It's pretty likely that there's nothing really sinister going on, but it's just worth keeping an eye out. Look at that, you can see all that brood there. It's really nice and patent, all the same level. Bees starting to hatch there. Very nice. That's the hatching line. It'll move back this way, and then she's been laying into here already. So, pretty nice. Okay, so this frame is completely packed. I'll just show you there, look, there's no room on the edge of that. It's been backfilled with nectar. So we want to be careful of this colony as well, that's why we're doing this now. Just no room. Too much food. It's such a job to manage these colonies this time of year. It really is. So this was only on 5 frames as well, not 6. And it's that 6th frame that makes that difference. A little bit of space in the middle here. The queen's been laying here. There's larvae, there's eggs. Can't see the queen on this frame. She might be in the box. I may have missed her. Full though. Still some room there in the middle she's laying into. So that's encouraging. She's still laying. Every single colony I'm looking at though is completely full. Okay. So we're going to have to put that one together. See if we can find the queen in here, if she's here. Just a mass of bees. Can't see her there. Can only assume she's already been transferred in. Check she's not on the front. That transfer is done. So now we're going to need to get some frames in. And I need one more because, as I said before, this was a 5-framer. Squashed a few bees. There are some dead bees from... let's go and get another frame of foundation. Rapidly running out. I did bring some more with me, and it's over there. Give you a shot of the nuke yard again if you didn't see it when we first started. Works pretty well, this yard. Okay, so let's put a frame in here. They'll have something to build out on, and she's got extra room straight away to build up on. Okay, good. Another one done. Just the other way. So the bees don't find it. Start putting stuff away a bit here. We're getting a bit of a mess. Okay. Have a look at this one. See if this one can be done. Not as okay. Leave that one for now. Okay, what should we do next? Plenty of places. Then we can do one here. Stick a hive in there and we'll transfer one over. This is our 8th transfer, I think, or is it 7th? 7th. We could do either side of this box. In fact, we could do 2 and then slide another one on after if we wanted to. Let's just see how we go here. They're all pretty full, this whole row. So the box is clean, reasonably clean comb. Going back into the box, we'll transfer this one first. Pretty full still, pretty happy with that. Loads of bees at the back, you can see there. They're all ready to be transferred, to be honest. So everything I do this week, hopefully, will mean I'll catch up. See if I can angle you down, you guys, so you can see that. Maybe you can. There we go. How's that looking? Not bad. Okay, so I'm going to go around to the rear and take the hive from that side. So nice when you're working the right height to do your bees with. It's an absolute joy. So we've got 5 frames here, 5 frame Daden hive, Daden nuke I should say, and another load of horrible bees, as you can see. Take this first frame out. Pretty lousy frame of brood. Queen's been laying into that as the bees have been emerging. Not much room on the outside, but there's still room for her to lay in the middle there. So this is a little bit smaller, and there is our queen. That's always a good sign when you find the queen straight away. There she goes. Beautiful queen. So she is in the box already. Happy days. full frames. Transfer these over pretty quick. Beautiful. Look at these frames of brood, they're just absolutely magical, you know. It's just that smell, you get this time of year when you're working the bees and, you know, you just smell that brood and the honey and the nectar and the pollen and everything. The whole hive is just absolutely alive, it's fantastic. So this one, that side is completely full of nectar, full. Let's see what this side is doing. So we have brood on this side. Sadly, I can't move this one space up and then put a frame in to give them something to build. But there's plenty of bees, so I'm pretty sure that they'll still find things to do where they'll just move around and build the new frame behind it. However, we can do that with this one. There's no eggs in this one. They're starting to get ready to lay in here, but there's no eggs in there yet. So I can move this one space up and put in a frame of foundation here, which will give them something to build right next to where they're compressed again. So I'm actually going to put a frame of foundation in there, not a frame of drawn comb. There we go, in goes a nice, pristine frame of foundation. Made these up last spring and I didn't use them all in the end. There we go. That's in. Now we can add some of our drawn comb as well, which no doubt they will build out pretty quick. I'm actually going to put in this one. A few little bits of old dried brood in there for them to clean out, but they can clean that out. Look at that. Okay, we know the queen's in there. I'm just going to tip this out. All the bees are in. Transfer is complete. Now we can slide this over to where it was, and all the flying bees will virtually come back to that place straight away. And they're going to get the roof off the truck that I left over there. Check the door is open. Yes, it is, but I'm just going to lift it even higher. And okay, let's put this plastic cover on. I've got a metal roof on this one, okay? But I just want to point something out. If you're putting metal roofs on hives, always make sure you've at least got a cardboard or a bubble wrap or normal insulation. Because I'm going to actually put a normal insulation board on here as well, because I don't want that to heat up. And that can be the death of a colony. Just find the one I've got over here for now. Take it from the middle one. So here's what I'm on about. Keep it insulated above the colony if you've got a metal roof, because I do not jest when I say in blinding sunshine that will heat up like you wouldn't believe, and your bees will struggle to keep that cool. And with the insulation, it helps them be able to maintain the colony better. So we've got room here now to do this one. We're going to actually do this one as well, because this is pretty full. So that one is done. There's no bees flying yet, but they'll come back in a second when I move out of the way. A lot of them have landed there, but when I put a box in its place, they will go to that space instead. So let's get a box here. I'm actually going to put this in front this time, because there's not much room on here at the moment. Just trying to manage the place a bit. So we're going to move this off its stand and put it in front. Not packed, but not bad. Still plenty of bees in here. I'm going to take this off and get it off. Plenty of bees in this one. Just going to transfer this, straightforward transfer, straight over. But we'll put this on the floor in front, because I haven't got enough room really to put a hive next to this. So you can go down here for a moment. And then we'll get cracking. Bring a hive over. Lots of bees flying. Okay. All ready, cleaned, ready to go. See if I can show you guys what I'm doing. Yeah, you can virtually see that. Let's try and angle it a bit for you. So here we go again. I'm going to get a little bit of smoke just to clear the bees off the top again. This is what I'll be doing all for the next 2 weeks, to be honest. Probably 10, 15 every day, as well as other things, moving bees around, doing transfers, putting supers on. Let's get that first frame out of here. These are really nice as well. Oh, nice. A little bit more room in this colony. Very good. Perfect. The time to transfer this colony over. Plenty of brood, nice bees, sunshine. What more could you want? Look at that horrible frame of brood. Not much room in that frame though, to be honest. Thank you. Beautiful. Absolutely glorious frames, nice bees. Quick to work, easy to do when you do it like this. I actually thought I'd been stung before, it was the gorse bush next to me. Larvae, young eggs, the queen's here. Be nice if we can find her. We know she's in then, but we may not. Loads of tiny eggs in that section in here. That's just emerged brood again. If you're looking to find if the queen is laying, find a place where the bees have just emerged from. And if you see that consistently where bees are emerging, there's a queen there. It's sometimes just easier to check that if you don't find her than it is to spend ages looking for her. If you don't have to find her, don't worry about it. Okay, again, this frame is completely nectar bound, and I don't think there's any brood on this side. Now it's completely pollen bound, so this frame can go one space up and we can put a frame of foundation in. Then the queen will have some fresh areas to lay into, because they will puff that frame up in no time. This has got brand new white wax on, and also a lot of drone. This must be a damaged comb or one they've rebuilt. So I'm going to leave this in, but it's got larvae in, so it has to go next to the other lot. So that's in. Now I'm going to look in the box for the queen. She might well be on the side of the box. There she is. Oops. Okay, so there is our, I don't know if I can show you here. There is the queen on the side of the box. Let's get you some sunlight in there. There she is. I've just been stung on the hand as well. Ow. Thank you. That was my fault. Now where's the queen gone? I have to look away and look back. There it is. She's up in the corner there. So I'm just going to put this on the edge without damaging the queen, hopefully, and pick her up and put her in the box safely, because I don't want her to be knocked into the box. There she is. She's in. Now we can knock the others in now. That is the great thing about these boxes, is they are so light. When you come to shake your bees in, it's really easy. So this frame's all puffed out and a bit damaged, but this was an outside frame, so I'm going to put it back as an outside frame. So if they want to store honey in that, they can. There's a frame of foundation. It's an old one. It's a little bit shaped. Sometimes you put a frame in like that and they build it in the way that it's curved. So it's not ideal, but I don't want to waste this frame of foundation, so it's going to go in anyway. And another frame of foundation there. And we have 1,000 bees. I should have done this from behind, but there you go. 1,000 bees waiting to come back in. We're out their way in a moment. There we go. Put the roofs on after when I'm ready to go, but that is done. Let's get out of the way and let these bees come back to their colony. There we go, look, a lot of bees there flying back. And they'll all rearrange themselves in time. By this evening, they'll all know where they're going. So we've done 8 transfers already. There's absolutely every single one really here could be transferred today. There's a few smaller ones at the front that I'm going to just leave for now, but I'm going to carry on. I've actually got to go back and get some more hives anyway. I'm run out of main hives. I've got a few more splits to do I want to try and do as well, so I'll try and do those as well. But I think we'll call it quits for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. 83 minutes is plenty long enough. Okay, let's do some chats if we can, answer some questions. Okay, guys, thank you very much for all your comments. I'm not going to be able to answer all of yours, but thanks, guys, for logging in. Birds, bees, dogs, hello, how you doing? Castle Hives, Bub, Canadian Beekeepers blog, I am honoured, Ian. Thank you for coming in. Texas Friendly Beekeepers, hi Stan, if that's you. Awesome. Bye everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. It was a bit of fun. Just lucky to be out here today with this beautiful weather. You can see that whole field up there. It's all rapeseed. It's about 6-7 hectares. It's enormous. And just kind of enjoying the weather. It's just nice to be able to share this with you. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.